What's going on, people? Welcome back to AFTV. If you're seeing my face and you're seeing a breaking news thumbnail, it's either going to be good news or bad news. Today is more bad news, not just because the weather here in the UK right now is absolutely freezing and it's cold, but there's been some more injuries amongst the Arsenal camp, or there's been some more progression, shall we say, when it comes to the injuries at Arsenal, and it's the time to discuss it as there's a big weekend of football coming up. Obviously, we take on our North London rivals on Sunday in the North London derby at the Emirates. So I'm going to get into kind of the backstory of this. I was at Baller League last night. I actually spoke to Yves Basuma around the North London derby, which hopefully you'll be able to see on the AFTV channel. It'll probably be on the socials at some point, either today or tomorrow. But after I did all those interviews and I was just walking around, it's towards the end of the back end of the final matches at Baller League, I had an Arsenal fan run up to me and say, Timber is injured. He is out for the North London derby. Why does this keep happening to us? Now, I'm here to clear that potential rumour or that accusation, because it's looking like he will be available because he got back up. But I'm going to go into what kind of happened there, and then we're obviously going to discuss the other major injuries like Gabriel Magalhaes and people like, Gabriel Magalhaes is kind of obviously the main one, and there's also a bit of murmurs about Victor Gyokeres not being available as well for the North London derby, which we're going to get into in this video. So let's start. Let's start with Jurrien Timber. He played in obviously a World Cup qualifier game against Lithuania for Holland, and he went down with a very bad knee injury. Actually, if there's there'll be images online if you going to do some further research on that, because there's cuts on his knee. He went down in the game against Lithuania, and obviously he's a key defender for Arsenal. For us, for me, Gabriel Magalhaes tips it for number one when it comes to that back four. If you want to include the goalkeeper, you can say the back five, but back four, Gabriel Magalhaes is number one, who's definitely actually is going to be out for the North London derby. And then the next one I wouldn't want to miss, because we got Mascara, would be actually a Timber. If it comes to left back position, we have cover in that position in Mars Lewis Skelly, or of course Calafiori, or even in Capier. But the next worry for me would be Timber. Granted, we have Ben White there, but it'd be Jurrien Timber that I'd want to start, and I'd be confident in starting in that game. But he got a knock in that Lithuania game. He played majority of the minutes, so he played 64 minutes in that game. Was still doing his normal stuff in that fixture. Got 46 touches. If you look at the statisticians want to hear onto this, 46 touches in that game, 4 recoveries. He was accurate passes was 85%. So he was still doing his normal stuff. And they ended up winning the game 4-0 in the Johan Cruyff Arena. So they won the game, but there was a big incident, obviously, where he got tackled quite aggressively, quite viciously. I'm probably going to butcher this name here, but he was caught Jurrien Timber by Edgaras Gyokeres. I hope I'm saying that right. And then was forced to come off to have treatment on his knee. But then he did end up going back on the field of play. So there's good news to say that he will be available. So that is positive, but it is a bit of a concern whether Arsenal, the Arsenal team will, and the doctors will assess him and see if he is available for the North London derby. But he's a warrior. It seems like he will be available for this game, but I have to mention, the knee injury, and that could be a potential doubt. But it's looking like, in my opinion, from what I've read, I think initially there was uproar that he might be out, but it's looking now like he will be available for the game, because I saw him get back up, I saw him play on. So I'm going to stay confident Jurrien Timber will be available, and if I'm honest, we really do need him. Next bit of information will be around Victor Gyokeres. Victor Gyokeres, Hand of Arsenal, reported this. Obviously, Hand of Arsenal on X, a very reliable source. He is a man that we've gone to quite a bit when it comes to news, especially in the past transfer windows, the summer transfer window. He tweeted saying Victor Gyokeres remains a doubt for the weekend. All well and good. Is it all well and good? For me, it really isn't. Victor Gyokeres remains a doubt for the weekend. So obviously he got injured in, I think it was a 2-0. It was a Burnley game, 2-0. I think he had a slight. 2-0 was a slight. I think a slight injury on his hamstring, if I'm not mistaken. And he He has obviously remained out. He didn't play for his international club, which is Sweden. They actually ended up losing, having quite a bad international break, if I'm honest, World Cup qualifiers. However, they have qualified for the World Cup, but his nation didn't do too well. Obviously, he wasn't playing in the games because he was injured. I think a lot of fans, including myself, were hoping that he would return for the North London derby. There's obviously other players that have been told that they will be returning very soon, the likes of Havertz, Martin Odegaard potentially as well, Gabriel Jesus, which we're going to get into the next video. I'm going to do another breaking news video and update you on some other players and their potential in leaving come January in another video straight after this one, but we'll discuss that next. But they're the players that might be potentially return after the international break, which is obviously this weekend. But Victor Gyokeres, I think for me, was someone I wanted to see play against our North London rivals Tottenham. But it's looking like he's going to be a doubt, even though that I thought he would be there. But that might mean that Havertz might get that starting berth at Mikel Merino. It just feels like, and I know Victor Gyokeres, his injury was not in the international break, but these international breaks are really, really killing us, if I'm honest. Obviously, they in my opinion, even like so Calafiori, he is back. He's been forced back early due to what's been happening with the injuries at Arsenal Football Club. So again, international break. I'm so glad that we are coming to the end of it, but the news right now is not massively positive. Gabriel Magalhaes, the last one to kind of finish up on this video, is obviously out for the North London derby. In Brazil, they won 2-0 against Senegal at the Emirates, by the way. That's where he picked up his injury, and it is being assessed, but there's been word to say, not from Mikel Arteta yet, but there's been heavy word from people around, the international doctors and whatnot, saying that it's very, very, very unlikely that he'll be available for the North London derby, which means, I suppose, Nketiah has to step up. Do you play a Calafiori alongside Saliba and put a Mars Lewis-Skelly left back? That is the questions. That is the questions that we need to be asking ourselves. Who plays in that left centre-back position? Because we're going to need cover for Gabriel Magalhaes, and probably the most important, well, for me, which I said at the top of this video, is the most important centre-back in that back line. He is not going to be there for the North London derby. And I was speaking to Spurs fans, and they were saying, I have a bit more confidence now that you haven't got Gabriel Magalhaes. He's a threat from corners, of course, but also is an extremely good defender. So for me, who takes that position? For you, who takes that position? Let me know in the comments below. Is it Nketiah? Do you put Calafiori left centre back and put a Mars Lewis-Skelly in there? What happens there? Do you play a Timber if he's not fully fit? He may not be fully fit. That's the truth. He may not be fully fit. But these are the questions. Excuse me. These are the questions that Mikel Arteta is going to have to face, and he's going to have to answer come Sunday, because Arsenal must win against Tottenham Hotspur. There's no other answer or no other solution. We must start off the back of this international break with a winning form, because we have a lot of tough games coming up, and we're going to need our players returning. I'm normally a fan of international breaks. I am so glad they're over. Now all I need is my players to return back fit to Arsenal. No more injury crises, please. Thank you very much for watching this video. Sorry it's not the breaking news with a smile. I had to update you all. So please like the video on your way out, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.